Good afternoon, Pinecrest Academy, Cadence Campus, secondary families. My name is Principal LeNeave, and I am so excited to welcome you alongside my team to the 2020-2021 school year. This will no doubt be a school year for the history books. I want to refocus everybody on our mission and vision. First, our mission. Pinecrest Academy unites together to prepare students for college and career. This is at the center of every decision we make here at Pinecrest Academy. And vision is students perform at the highest level on all academic measures. We take our data and our students' growth very seriously, and we hope that you will unite with us this year to keep our students learning even through these challenging times. As we move through our meet and greet, I have to tell you that a lot of changes have been made to this presentation. As you know, the board had to make a very difficult decision based on state guidance to move us to a full virtual platform. They have determined at this time that we will be in that platform for at least the period of 1 month, after which time they will reevaluate this decision. This means that we will make some changes to our daily schedule. You may recall before that we had a daily schedule in which Wednesdays were a common day where we would have cleaning and additional prep time for teachers. Now that we're in the full virtual world, we want to make sure that all of our students are engaged in our platforms every day. Teachers will be releasing schedules and assignments and remote live instruction time periods for each day of the week. So please prepare your students that they will be on a consistent 5-day-a-week schedule. As I mentioned, we take our vision very seriously. And I wanted to just show you what the results would have been last year based on predictive testing measures, which we utilized our iReady scores from the spring testing. Now we know that we took those iReady tests at home. All outlying data has been removed as far as students who may have had higher data than they really probably should have. This gave us the most accurate predictive data, as well as other points that we use from first semester to average what our score would have been had we been STAR evaluated. We are proud to announce that in middle school, we would have received an 89.4, which is the equivalent of a 5-star rating. Additionally, we are proud to announce that had we received our very first STAR rating in high school, we would have crushed it, a 98.8. And what's so interesting about these data points is that most of them were completely based on the true data points and not predictive testing, meaning we actually took our ACT and blew the state average out of the water. Additionally, our students participated in advanced coursework and had other factors throughout their time in high school that would have contributed to that STAR rating. We are very proud of our high school students and want to continue along this path. Let's meet our leadership team. This team has been working around the clock all summer to switch multiple times to various platforms. And I just really hope that we can continue to serve families in the manner in which we have been. And these are the core of that. So they are handling your scheduling needs, your behavior needs, your student support needs. This is an incredible team. First, introducing Mr. Brian Rudden and Miss Jamie Purdy as our secondary assistant principals, Mr. Joseph Palmaffi and Miss Kara Guerrieri as our secondary deans, Miss Kristen Serrano and Miss Kendra Cox as our middle school academic advisor or coordinator, as well as our high school counselor. Mr. Gabriel Morales will be offering our teacher support, and Miss Huda Hassan will be our CTE and dual enrollment coordinator. Mr. Leroy Chase, he serves as our student mentor and really helps students get to the finish line. Ms. Sherelle Freeman is our Safe School professional and works at all levels of supporting students and connecting them with community outreach services in order to make sure that the foundational needs of our families are met to the fullest extent within our abilities. And finally, Ms. Sarah Peccolo, who serves as our special education facilitator for K through 12 and can assist with any needs within the special education realm after, of course, you've contacted their caseworkers. Our secondary staff are so excited to introduce themselves to your students. Within the coming days, you will see links to each one of their websites, and on those websites, you will find a welcome video. We encourage all families to watch the welcome videos for each teacher in which your child will be assigned to. This will give you an idea of what the operations within their class will be, the expectations, and it will show you a little bit about their personalities. Go ahead and click on the links for the virtual classroom portal, and they will direct you through their websites to their videos. I will show this again later in the presentation, but we do have a full meet and greet schedule for this Friday, meaning your students can go in the virtual world onto their teachers' Zoom platforms based on their periods. We have this twice on Friday so that they can just simply follow their typical schedule, pop in, meet their teacher, and ask a few questions that may be general in nature. Of course, you'll want to watch the meet and greet presentations first because that will give you the most information. But we would love for our students to pop in and say hi to our staff members, and they will be on at those times on this Friday. I want to caution you on a few items coming up in the slideshow. I have removed many items from our traditional meet and greet. Items such as car loop and athletics and all of the things that when we are able to come back physically to campus, I'll make sure to do a follow-up presentation to explain those. At this time, however, any information that you do see that may have the yellow circle on it or maybe in yellow print, that's specific for this time that we are in a COVID state of education. So please kind of keep those icons in mind as you see them throughout the rest of the presentation. Communication. Communication is important to us. We work hard to try to make our communication clear and accessible on multiple platforms. With that said, families will want to make sure that they understand what are primary sources and what are secondary sources. The reason I point these out is because sometimes our families get really comfortable with our Facebook platform and then wonder how they missed an announcement. Facebook is often utilized to send out general reminders to our community, but it's definitely not feasible to keep you as current and up to date on the multitude of activities that we have on such a large campus. So make sure that you're looking for our Cougar column, which there's a link on our website, and we also send an email reminder a couple of times a week to get you to that Cougar column. It's basically our weekly newsletter, as well as emails, Infinite Campus, and our website are all primary sources, as well as our once a month, which recently we've done them a little bit more frequently, parent impact meetings. We do those, we try to go once a month or as needed, if needed during these times like this where we might need to do them more frequently. Other social media and platforms are definitely considered secondary platforms of communication, so please look for our primary ones. Additionally, when you are communicating with our staff, we want to set some norms so that we're all on the same page and parents aren't left feeling like we have not answered their questions. So we want to make sure we establish the proper points of contact. Of course, in most cases, your first source is going to be your child's teacher. All teachers and staff have department chairs, which would be an appropriate second place to get additional questions or to put it on their radar that you haven't heard back from a teacher yet. Then it would be the assistant principal of those grade levels, and finally the principal. I have to tell you that many of the administrators, myself included, get bombarded with emails. My average is 180 emails a day, and during times like this, closer to 200. And so if you come directly to our email accounts, you may be waiting longer than you really need to for a response if you just go to the primary sources first. But we are here to serve you, and we will always do our best to get back as timely as possible. There are, of course, other points of contacts like our registrar, our deans, our social worker, depending on the needs and the types of services that you are seeking at that time. So please always try to go to the most appropriate source first, and please don't be offended if you come to one of us first and we point you in the right direction. We are committed to getting you the answers that you're seeking. Let's talk about attendance. There's a big yellow section on this page because attendance is tricky during this time of virtual education. I have tried to preemptively communicate with families that during this time, you will need to have your students set up for success. We need them in remote live instruction. And actually, if you think about it, by us engaging them live on instruction, it actually cuts down some of the need for their caretakers to engage them in their education. So a lot of families who are concerned about your students being at an aunt's house or an uncle's house or a cousin's house or even an older sibling, by simply making sure that they're online at the right times, we are going to take the responsibility of educating your children to the fullest extent possible during this time. Therefore, we need your children there on time. Students will be expected to be in their classes, and we will be taking attendance traditionally. If they are not attending their classes, they are jeopardizing their credits. So please know that going into this. And no, we are not recording every single lesson. You may see the occasional recording of a lesson if the teacher wants students to be able to really go back and revisit a concept, but it is not feasible to record the nearly 700 lessons a day that we will be providing throughout our campus. So please make sure your child is set up for success and engaging live with their teachers so we can ensure their understanding. If they are tardy to a class, they have 15 minutes to get into that class. Within those 15 minutes, they will be marked tardy. After those 15 minutes, if they join the class, they will still be marked absent. And if they do not stay on for the duration of the time in which the teacher is teaching, they will be changed to an absence. So your students need to plan to attend until their teachers release them from their core instruction. How do we report attendance? Now we know that students are still going to have dentist appointments and be sick occasionally, doctor's appointments, etc. The best way to report attendance is right on our website. We have a link, which is on the screen, that shows you exactly where to go report those attendance occurrences. So if your child is out and you would like that to be an excused absence, simply report it on our website and we will try to change that to an excused absence so long as it falls within our policies. The full policies can be found within the parent-student handbook. This is most important when it comes to attendance. Be on time every day. We've been saying this for years. We even have t-shirts that have this messaging on it. I just simply added the yellow for COVID times to your virtual classes. Students still need to be on time and traditional attendance will be taken. Now, let's talk about behavior within the virtual platform. At this time, I would typically talk to you about behavior on campus and also point you to the parent-student handbook. These policies for virtual behavior can also be found within our parent-student handbook. Let's talk about 3 key policies that students need to adhere to, and we would appreciate parents taking the time to prepare their students for. Students should sign in to their classrooms with their Pinecrest email accounts, which is basically their first and last name dot last name at student.pinecrestmv.org. And I have that on a slide moving forward. They need to be displaying their first and last name, no nicknames, no slang names. Students who do not adhere to these guidelines may be removed from the platform and counted absent. So please get your students ready that they must have appropriate names displayed and logged in with their username and password. Now, acceptable clothing must be worn. We are highly encouraging the use of the uniform top. However, students may adhere to our free dress policy. This is pretty simple. As the teachers taking attendance, if the students are not in modest and appropriate wear in accordance with our policies, they will be asked by their teacher to go change. Their camera will be turned off if they do not come back in appropriate wear, and they will be counted absent. So it's key to their success that they show up every day in appropriate wear for the camera and classroom. Nothing on their clothing should be inappropriate in nature with regard to logos or jargon, as well as the modesty should be adhered to based on our free dress policy, which can be found within our handbooks. Finally, the video display must show the student with an appropriate background for the entire class. Be aware also, family members should not be lurking in the background. We really need their backgrounds to just be simple, pointed towards maybe a wall or a bookshelf. We should not really be seeing your entire household's business while they are on camera. So simply set them up for success by having a very plain background behind them. And we're really asking that parents not hover over the students, especially as we start getting to these secondary grade levels. They should be kind of getting them off to a start and working towards independence within the platforms. Parents should absolutely not be interrupting class. You can encourage your children to advocate for themselves, but this isn't really the setting in which we will be answering parent questions. Please allow your students to really get a grip on working within these platforms directly with their teachers. As you can see, this is a screenshot of our free dress policy. So please, again, remember that that's right inside our parent student handbook, which can be found on our website. This message is directly for our dual enrollment students. So there's a few things that we've done in the past that don't quite apply at this time. We have a ton of dual enrollment students headed to college this term, and we're so proud of you. Our dual enrollment students have done excellent in the past. You may free dress, and of course, as we return to campus, that would be more applicable at that time. You don't have to wear a lanyard at this time, of course. And traditionally, during the first 2 weeks of school, you would be attending what we call the dual enrollment boot camp because college isn't quite started. You will notice that all of you will be enrolled or already have been enrolled into a Google Classroom specific for our dual enrollment students. You will have some assignments within the first week of school that are mostly informational and will help you get your feet wet on what to expect within the college setting. So make sure you log into that Google Classroom specific to dual enrollment students and go through those assignments and connect with the instructors within that platform, because this will be a landing spot for you throughout virtual education to make sure that we're able to check in with your grades and your progress in the dual enrollment platforms. Parents, if you have opted to pay for some additional credits for your students, please make sure that that gets handled prior to classes starting. Blended learning. Blended learning has been a term that we have utilized for years at Pinecrest, and never has that term been more important than it is now. We're very proud that we have set our community up for success by highly integrating technology for years and years at Pinecrest. And this year, undoubtedly, we are going to be reliant on that very technology. So please just know that blended learning programs will still be expected of your students. This is different than remote live instruction. These are more platforms such as this one, iReady. iReady is a platform that we utilize, and it starts with an iReady assessment. As any of our returning families know, we still took this assessment in the spring of this past year from home, and we plan to do the same this year. What's most important about that is parents should not be helping students with their iReady assessment. It does them absolutely no good. And here's why. First of all, we don't grade the iReady assessment. The diagnostic is specifically utilized in order to set their pathway up for success so that we can target the areas that they are lacking and improve upon the areas that they're already strong in. It gives the students a very specified coursework for the next several months as they venture into that platform, all based on that diagnostic. So if you help them through the diagnostic, their coursework that follows will be too difficult for them. Please allow them the time as the teacher assigns this to them to take that assessment independently. This year we will be doing that in sessions of remote live instruction. It will be very clear on the guidelines given out by the teachers, and I just have to urge you, please don't help them. iReady has significantly impacted the differentiation that we're able to offer here at Pinecrest in a positive light. As we know, there will be technology issues that arise. All of our families who needed Chromebooks, hopefully you're getting in there today, which is Wednesday, and getting your Chromebooks. And so all of our students who need technology will be assigned technology. However, Sometimes that technology, the cameras don't work, or the screen goes blank, or whatever the case is. With 2,000 computers out in our community, we're bound to have an issue here and there. If you do find yourself in that situation, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays will be the days that we address this from 8 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. in the secondary building once school gets started. You will simply contact Sadie at Intellitech.net, and we'll make sure that that contact information is out there in the community, and she will arrange for a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, whatever is next, to meet you in the secondary building in order to address your technology need. Teams. Teams, for all of my new families, is the acronym that we utilize in order to address anything that falls before or after school. And I do mean anything. So traditionally, this would be tutoring, athletics, before and after school care, clubs, all sorts of things that are going on our campus, as we're usually open from 6 to 6. Now, while I have that big yellow icon, because most of that we can't do at this time, there's a few important notes that I wanted to put on parents' radar. The first one is, as we move throughout the year, parents often ask us to waive or reduce fees for a multitude of reasons, and sometimes those reasons are honestly valid and somewhat convincing. The issue is we have to remain consistent with our community. No fees at our campus can be waived or reduced for any reason. So if you utilize any of our services, or platforms that have some sort of cost associated with them, we cannot reduce that fee. I am excited to announce, because it's taken us years to get down this road, that we are now working to open up our partnership with Urban League. So for families who have financial hardship, as we do get to open our doors back up, it's our goal that we can start providing before and after school care with that governmental supplemental program through Urban League that would help to pay for some of that before and after school care for our families who need to work during that time. In the past, you've had to send your children to a different after school offering, and we are working hard to get this up and running as soon as possible so that our families can benefit from this as well. So I definitely look forward to giving you more information about that in the future. Fees on Infinite Campus. If you go to your child's Infinite Campus, if you're new to Pinecrest, make sure you get into that. We've sent a ton of links in the previous week to be able to log into your Infinite Campus, and I know our staff are working to reset those who are having issues. You'll see a plethora of fees on there, and that's where you can pay for anything, any of the charges at our campus. Just one caveat, anything that's PTO related would be a separate account, but we do run all fees through Infinite Campus, and when we open back up, you can see that there are many more that you could handle through there as well. That looks like this, where you see the 2 red arrows is where you can go to view your fees, as well as link a credit card to make payments at that time. I just want to say how proud I am of the PTO. It really makes a difference when you work with a group of parents, and we have been so fortunate at Cadence to get such a great PTO in place over these years. And this group is just really fantastic to work with. They have been alongside us throughout this entire pandemic, asking what can we do and how can we help? And that has been such an incredible relief for us, because they have stepped in, they continue to serve our teachers and our students. They are continuing to look for ways to host events even throughout this time where we have strict guidelines to follow. We are asking that parents still be involved in the children's education. I say it every year. The one thing that most sets charter schools apart and the success of charter schools is the manner in which parents get on board to help that school. If you can join the PTO, please do. This group of people are looking for ways to creatively plan for things like Harvest Festival, even during these times, to serve in our building, even when we do open up under restricted guidelines, they are boots on the ground. So if you're looking for volunteer opportunities and we're asking you to be involved, please join our PTO. They're the avenue right now that our parents are going to be able to be most involved, and we are working directly with them. Just one more shout out to our PTO. Thank you so much for everything you're doing during this time to serve our community, and we encourage all parents to get involved. It is a phenomenal group to be a part of. So what does all this mean? Where do we get started? How do we know what to do come Monday morning? So let's synthesize this down. For our secondary families, come Monday morning, you will simply follow your 7-period schedule. You can find that schedule in Infinite Campus. So just look up your schedule, look up the times that you're due at those classes, and that's your schedule. Teachers will be taking attendance. Teachers will instruct the lesson, and then teachers will release students from that lesson as they feel the students have a grasp. So this isn't to say that your students will be sitting online for 7 periods a day, like full time. It means that if I sign on to period 1 and my math teacher teaches a 15-minute lesson, checks for understanding, and then gives us independent work, as soon as I've demonstrated that I understand that, I can either stay on with the teacher to work through my work and ask any questions I have, or the teacher may release the students to independently work off screen. So again, we're going to condense their lessons down to the beginning of the period, and then work with our students who have questions so that we are taking that responsibility. So even if your students are embarrassed or nervous at first to ask questions on camera, we have all got to become part of their village to encourage them that it's okay and this is the way to get their help, because we are here to help them. And so encourage them to stay on and get their work done and ask questions as they have them. Our teachers are here for you. Here's where you go to find your information. I pointed to the virtual classroom because this is going to be your main stop. This is where you can find links to the teachers' websites for secondary, and within their websites, you can find links to their Clever. You can also go down to the student pull-down menu and click on most of the online programs such as iReady, STMath, and they'll take you to the Clever platform. Clever is a platform that we're using as a single sign-on for our students. So all they have to do is log in utilizing their student email address, which again is firstname.lastname@student.pinecrestnv.org, as well as their student number for their password. You can find their student number on Infinite Campus. Once they're in the Clever platform, they will see all of their classes start to appear. Teachers are still catching up on some of this, so I know they'll be working in the coming days to make sure that their Zoom links and their classrooms are all included within that platform. They're also constantly adding the various curriculum components to this one screen. So please get your students logged into Clever, because that is where they can find all of the different links instead of having to, scour the web to find the various platforms that they should be on. Now, what's coming up in the coming days? So Wednesday, August 12th, is pick up a Chromebook. So if your family needs a Chromebook, if you're new to Pinecrest, or if you're kindergarten or your family needs a Chromebook for any reason, please come to either building on Wednesday, August 12th. On Friday, August 14th, that's our meet and greet. I would encourage you to watch the videos of all of your teachers prior to this Friday. That way, when you're going into their classrooms virtually, you can simply say hello. The schedules are included right here for elementary as well as secondary, and these schedules will also be sent out and published to the community. So you can see that there are morning times and afternoon times. It's the same thing in both times. It's simply come on. General questions are fine, but really say hello to your teacher and kind of get some of those bugs out of being nervous on the first day. Monday, August 17th, we unite together to keep our kids educated. So let's come together as a community. Let's have our disposition say to our students that this is okay. This is gonna be okay, and we're all gonna work through it together. And let's really keep our students educated during this very challenging time. The last date that I wanna put on your radar is September 1st. This is a Tuesday, and this is the day in which we will be hosting All day, you will be assigned a time. Come as close to your time as you can. Much like the pickup at the end of the school year, you'll be picking up materials directly from your teacher. So we'll let an appropriate amount in the building at any time. You'll have to have your face mask on, and you can come and get your print materials that you'll need during this time. Now, we recognize that this is about 10 days into school, maybe 12 days into school. But on that day, there will not be any assignments for students because this is a day specific to gathering materials. Originally, we were planning to give out these materials during the hybrid platform to 70 to 75% of our students live. Now that all of our students are in virtual, we're going to make sure that they get their workbooks and any other print materials, agendas, and springboard books and things like that that they may need during this time. Teachers will be communicating a little bit more about whether or not they have things to come pick up in the coming weeks, and this will give us some time to really get organized for 2,000 students to come and pick up their materials. So until that time, we will make sure that assignments are mostly done in the virtual platform, and really the first week or so is about getting our community comfortable, building relationships with our students and teachers, and all of us making sure that we are geared up and ready to go in the virtual platform. Here again is a copy of the meet and greet schedule. So I will just give a second if anybody wants to take a picture of that. This will also be posted on our websites. Again, a student can simply come on Friday and follow their schedule. So you can see 15-minute blocks of time where they can just go in and out of their teacher Zoom sessions to say hello and ask any general questions that you might have. I just want to remind you that we recognize that it's challenging and we feel you. Many of us are parents too and want our students in school and want all of this to just be okay. And so I cannot thank you enough for your patience during this time. We know it's challenging, and Pinecrest is here to educate your children and be here for you every step of the way. Please work with us to set your students up for success. Our teachers are taking everything into account. They have been working tirelessly to set this up for your students. There will be glitches. There will be challenges. There will be internet outages. There will be teachers who call in sick because, you know, there's a need within their family. All of these things are going to come up. But I know if we all work together and keep communication lines open, we can continue to do what's best for our students. I'm so grateful that you continue to choose Pinecrest. We know that you have a choice in your child's education, and we cannot thank you enough for trusting us with your children's education and for really coming on board with the team to work together in a way that we have never had to work together in order to keep these children growing. I cannot wait to see you in person as soon as that's allowable. My team is ready for you in the virtual world. They are ready to open for you when we're permitted to live. The Cadence team is dedicated to your students, and we cannot wait to make this the best year possible in such unique circumstances. Thank you so much. We will see you in the virtual world on Friday.